Hey, good evening. How are you doing? Thanks for streaming with us. We really appreciate it. Just making sure the volume is right. It's pretty much right. Have you been outside? Well, you've noticed that we've got a northerly wind at about 15 miles per hour or so. That northerly wind is ushering in drier air, so you're going to love the morning. Matter of fact, you can really feel the difference out there, even though the temperatures haven't really they're not as cool as it would seem. It's that dry air that's moving in that's making it feel good. Anyway, tomorrow morning I think we'll be down in the 60s with a little bit of a breeze, so really nice. Next several mornings will be very nice, but the problem is since we're not really seeing a lot of cooling behind this front, highs will still be in the lower 90s initially, and then we'll get back into the mid 90s, I think. But anyway, next couple of days we'll have drier conditions, and that will be very, very nice. Let's take a look at the temperature outside. Right now it is 80 degrees. Look at the dew point. Dew point has dropped from 70 down to 59, and that's why it's feeling pretty good out there. By the way, before the front arrived, we reached a high today of 99. We almost hit 100. We didn't break the record, though, or come close to the record. Record high was 105, believe it or not, on this date in 2005, that very hot summer of 2005. Now, we may get close to some records perhaps next week. It's possible. We'll just have to see. But anyway, temperatures are going to stay a little bit above average. All right, looking at the temperatures for this evening, if you're going out doing anything, I think it's going to be really nice in the morning. Again, upper 60s for a low, so feeling pretty good. Let's see if there's any thunderstorm activity that's left over. We did have some storms with the frontal boundary south of San Antonio, and it looks like most of that activity has pretty much played out now that the sun has gone down. And that's not surprising. Let's take a look at the temperatures out there. Again, we're sitting at 80, but it feels more like the 70s out there. Bernie's at 73, Kerrville 72. Let's see, San Marcos coming in right around 76 or so. Floresville 81, Gonzales 76. So feeling pretty good out there right now. And over the next several days, you'll notice the difference. Let's see where that frontal boundary is. See, I wrote this, drew this front end. Yeah, it's a little bit further south than what I'm showing here because I drew this in a couple hours ago, but that front is further down to the south than that, not by a whole lot, but a little further to the south. Look, temperatures, Dallas, Fort Worth, 76. See, what I'm telling you is there's just not a lot of cooling behind the front, but definitely a lot of drying. It's making a difference. All right, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about Helene. I believe Helene is still a Category 1 hurricane. Yep, winds at 85 miles per hour. A little elongated. It looks like there's a little bit of some shear, but if you look at the broad picture, really nice outflow. I mean, and I think the atmosphere is going to be pretty conducive, very pristine almost for development as this moves into the Gulf of Mexico. Plus, the water temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico are very, very warm. So it looks like Helene is going to really ramp up, and moving to the north at 12 when making landfall tomorrow evening, probably moving to the north at about 15, 16 miles an hour, something like that. So it's going to be moving pretty quick. All right, so Helene will become a Category 2 and then should intensify pretty rapidly just before, well, I wouldn't say just before landfall, but sometime tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think Helene's going to go from a Category 2 to a 4 and should make landfall as a Category 4 pretty close to, let's see, Appalachia Bay, I believe that is, the Big Bend area of Florida, to the right of where Helene makes landfall. Storm surge is going to be tremendous, probably 15 feet. The National Hurricane Center saying up to 20, 15 feet, maybe 20 feet, something like that, mainly just right to the right side of landfall. In all of Florida, though, this is the least populated area there. I don't know if you've ever looked at a map, but there are no really big cities that are right along the coast there in the Big Bend area of Florida. Tallahassee is kind of right in between where the Florida coast is and Georgia borderline. Tallahassee is right there. Right now, if this current path, if it holds, it's going to be moving pretty close to Tallahassee. And a Category 4 hurricane has winds I believe 120 to 136 or something like that. Actually, I think more than that. But anyway, it'll lose a little bit of strength moving inland, but it's going to be moving so fast that Tallahassee will have very strong winds. It could be up to 120 in Tallahassee. It's going to be really, I think that's where a lot of damage is going to be, plus the storm surge right along the coastal sections. And then Helene will go ahead and keep moving inland through Georgia and into Tennessee and also into Kentucky. It's possible that Helene may be a minor hurricane moving through southwestern Georgia. So a lot of damage going to be for Florida and Georgia and parts of the southeast. Okay, so here's what I think is going to be happening for us. There goes Helene into Florida. With this kind of a pattern, it's really just, it's not conducive for rainfall at all. I don't think we're going to see a drop of rain over the next 14 days. At least that's the way it looks. Now, with this map here, I know it can get a little busy, but what I've got is I've got the 500 millibar lines here, the isohypes, and I've got the 250 millibar winds. So the winds that you see, those little arrows, those are about 30,000 feet. The lines are at about 20,000. And anyway, I'm going to step through this. So we've got a ridge of high pressure that's going to pretty much persist across Arizona and also New Mexico. We're going to have this low that Helene kind of gets absorbed in the Tennessee Valley. Between the two, we're going to have a northerly flow aloft. And Thursday, Friday, right into Saturday, I think that's going to continue. And what that's going to do is it just makes it dry, not only at the surface, but through most of the levels of the atmosphere. We just stay dry. And there's just no way you're going to see rain with that kind of a pattern. Into Saturday, now this is interesting. There will be a little disturbance kind of pinwheeling around on Saturday, but we're going to be so dry, I doubt we'll even see some clouds, much less rain from that trough. And as we head into Sunday, there's going to be a little weakness overhead. But again, I think we're just going to be so dry that you can pretty much forget about rain. And then as we head into Monday and Tuesday and also into Wednesday, that northerly flow just continues. And so there's just, over the next 7 days, I just don't think we're going to see rain. And then as we head into Thursday of next week, Friday, kind of the same thing. This is going to be kind of interesting, though. A couple of computer models are showing by the 5th of October another area of concern in the tropics there around the Yucatan. But if something does develop there, I think it'll have a tendency to do almost the same exact thing that Helene is doing, moving to the north and then towards Florida. Could come really close to it again. They could have another, it's a long way out, I know, but could have another impact the 6th or the 7th, somewhere around there. But notice the flow here that we've got, either northwesterly or west to east. And I think for the most part, I think our hurricane season is pretty much over here in South Texas, especially with this kind of a pattern here. So mainly dry, lows kind of tolerable in the morning, lows in the upper 60s to lower 70s, but highs lower to mid 90s. I think that's where we're headed for the next several days. So as we head into the next several days, like tomorrow and Friday, we won't see a cloud in the sky. And high temperatures on Thursday will likely be close to 90. Friday will likely be in the lower 90s, and then we'll warm up a little bit. Here's a look at the 14-day forecast. So 93 on Friday, I think 93 on Saturday. So the weekend, low to mid 90s for highs, but dry. Northerly winds continue. As we head into next week, mid 90s, 95, 94, somewhere around there. We're probably not going to break records, but could get close. That's really warm for this time of the year. Next week is going to be about as hot as the first week of October gets, with high temperatures in the mid 90s. And then as we head into Saturday, Sunday, the 5th and the 6th, mid 90s continue, 94 to 96. And I just don't see much of a, not only chance for rain, but I don't see a big cold front coming in anytime soon. So anyway, we just hang on to hot weather. Summer kind of rolls on here, even into fall here across South Texas. But at least the mornings will be a little bit better. We can count on that, so that's good. All right, well, I got to go run and do the 10 o'clock show. Make sure and watch us in the morning, and I will be back tomorrow evening. And again, we really appreciate you guys streaming with us. All right, we'll see you later.